Hello. In this session, we are going to discuss the concept of meaning of work in multinational context. Basically, in the session, we are going to cover first the concept of meaning of work, how the meaning of work, what is the meaning of the concept and these implications, and how it was conceptualized in the past, and the current approaches to the concept of the meaning of work. And in the second part of the session, we are going to discuss two cases. The first case will be on the redundancies and delocation of enterprises and how the meaning of work is constructed in this particular context of delocalization means enterprises and companies who decided to move operations abroad. And the second case that we're going to use as an example of how the meaning of work is constructed in these particular meanings, in this particular context, is the case of assembly plants who have operations in borderline regions of the world, in particular in Mexico, but we also mentioned the cases of Bangladesh and other countries. The seminal psychological theories of the concept of meaning of work, they focus in particular of how central the importance of working is for the individual. And these are the more seminal or the more mainstream considerations about the meaning of work, in particular from the psychological perspectives. Sociological and contemporary perspectives, instead, they have focused more on the cultural circumstances that constrains the sense-making, the relation between, for example, power, and how the meaning of work is imposed, for example, by power, those one who monopolize the discourse in the organizations, and how the organization's narratives are involved when the meaning of work is produced. In the first understanding of the issue, the studies of the meaning of work made us notice that the potential risks that could come depending on which the extreme conceptions of work are represented. So, for example, the absolute power or role of the work in life. So, those one who consider that work is central in their lives, and this could have consequences in their health, for example, with stress or workaholic or alcoholism, people who became extremely dependent of working as a way of engaging, social engaging in their everyday life. And the second one, is more on the how work could be dissociated from other aspects of lives. So, for example, those one who conceive the work as something completely dissociated from the ethical, the personal and social norms. And this could address issues about, for example, unethical behavior or corruption, right? Because they basically disassociate the way of working or they work for any other considerations in life. The alternative approaches, instead, when they are more broad and more, as we said, interdisciplinary. So, for example, asking what makes people's work, the anthropologist Olivia Harris has reflected on how culturally, for example, and historically constructed the work could be. Underline that, for example, for the Aymara people, the Aymara from the Andes in South America, work implies the affirmation of human personhood and of the community to which the Aymaras belong. For example, for the Aymara believe that they would be less humans if they don't work. The meaning of the word work, indeed, could imply much more than to perform or fulfill duties for a wage or a salary. It could be something it can be implied exactly the opposite, right? It's just doing something, right? And this is always this controversial issue, right? When we are working and when we are not working, right? Just doing something could be constructed as part of the meaning of work, yeah? Even if it is not a salary or any sort of compensation involved. Indeed, there is a consensus among social and economic anthropologists of the need for a better knowing and dissemination of how the meaning of work is permanently constructed and reconstructed in contemporary societies. However, it's not clear, for example, how this reconstruction might be realized in practice or discussed inside or outside of academic circles. It's very difficult to define. For example, sociologists of work acknowledge that the meaning of work has, for people, changed depending on the variations of the socioeconomic context. Like, for example, Tony Watson, right, who says that, depending on your socioeconomic context, work will mean for you something different than for someone who belongs to other socioeconomic contexts. And so in this sense, it will be more appropriate to talk about meaning of working, not meaning of work, because the meaning of what is to work change permanently and depends of who construct this in particular situations and in particular socioeconomic, sociopolitical contexts.